Warm welcome to all the students for today's lecture. In last two lectures, we have seen how we can provide graphics with the different methods available with the graphics class, how to provide graphics, how to draw different shapes, how to fill different colors onto the applets. In this lecture, however, we are going to see we are just going to see an introduction to AWT package. Now this AWT package which is there, it contains so many classes. These classes not only help us to come up with applets which don't have public static void main method, but they are also available for us to come up with the applications, Windows applications, right? So in this particular lecture, we are going to see, first we are going to see the hierarchy of this AWT package. Now there is a class called as component class. Okay, this component class is basically it's a super class of all the other classes from which graphical user interface elements can be derived. So as you can see, component class is super class of all graphics classes in AWT. From component class we have button class. This button class has all the functionalities including the event handling for various buttons. Label class for various labels on the form. Then there is a checkbox class. This is used for different checkboxes. Class that represent checkboxes, and list which represent various lists which can be represented on your forms. Now apart from all these 1, 2, 3, 4, there is another class called as container class. This container class, it basically manages the layouts and placements of other GUI components. Other GUI components like buttons, labels, checkboxes, lists, all this, how it can be placed and how the layout can be managed. All this is basically managed by this container class. Now this container class is further divided into two other subclasses. There is a window class and there is a panel class. Now in the previous lectures we have used this panel class because this panel class is a super class of a class called as applet. So whenever you want to create an applet, what you are coming up with is you are coming up with a code, you are coming up with your own class that extends this applet class, and this applet class in turn inherits properties from the panel class which has information regarding the forms that you are going to come up with in applets. Now window class, container class also has a window class. Apart from panel class, there is a window class. This window class basically helps us to come up with the window forms, applications. So panel class enables you to come up with applets, whereas window class enables you to come up with applications, applets and applications. Now out of this, there is window class further is divided into frame class and dialog class. Now to create window applications, graphical user interface GUI window applications in Java, we are going to use this frame class. The difference between a frame and a panel is nothing but a frame basically contains it's a window that has a border and that has a proper menu bar, title bar and so on. Whereas when you see the panel like in applets, there is no menu bar, there is no title bar, also there are no particular borders, right? So that's a difference. So let us see this in detail. So as we have seen, there is a component class. Component class is superset or superclass of all other classes from which various GUI elements are derived. And component class is responsible for display of graphics objects on the computer screen. It is the component class that handles various keyboard and mouse events in the GUI application. So it is this class, component class, that takes care of different GUI events, mouse events, keyboard events. So different events and their handling is taken care of actually by the component class. Now further, component class it is inherited by another class, subclass, which is called as container class. So this container class manages the layouts and placements of other AWT components within the container, and it can contain other container objects. So it is this container class that can contain other AWT objects, or a container class can also have, or container can also have another container within, right? Now then further, container class is divided into window and panel. So let's see. Window, this class enables you to come up with the layout of the window, whereas a panel class is a super class of applet class. Panel class represents the window space on which the application's output is displayed. Now panel is basically, it's a normal window with, as I've said, that there is no border, there is no title bar, there is no menu bar, etc. Whereas when you talk about the frame, okay, that's a panel. When you talk about frame, so we are going to use frames while creating our applications, GUI application, we are going to use frame. What is frame? So frame is a top level window which has borders, menu bars, etc. Okay. So it supports window related events like closing the window, opening the window, activating the window, deactivating window. All this is present in the frame class. Now, so as I've told you, for creating graphical user applications, okay, we are going to use this particular frame class. Now this frame class can be used, okay, and the object of frame can be created in two ways. One, using inheritance. So the class, your own user defined class that you're going to write for your frame construction, let that class extend the frame class. This is one way how you can create a frame. Or the second method is association, that is, you don't create a separate class, rather you just create object of the frame class itself. Okay. Now in our programs we are going to use this second method, association method, because this is a easier method. Okay. So this is a small code of how a simple frame can be created. So first of all, in java.awt package, there is a class called as frame. So we'll have to import that class. Now this frame class, as we have said, to create a frame on the computer screen, to create a frame, GUI frame, okay, we are going to use this association. So we are going to create the object of this frame class itself. So as you can see code over here, frame is an object. So I say frame is equal to new frame, and this is the name of the frame. Okay. Now this frame class or any frame, it has attributes. For example, one attribute is set size. Any frame has a size. There is a width and there is height. So there is a method called as set size that we are going to use. And once the frame is ready, then there is a method called as set visible, which should have a component called as true, input called as true, so that the frame will be visible. So let us see a small program to create this particular frame. We create a new project. Say Java application, go to next. Okay, make sure that the main class is checked here, because this program will have a main class. I will say frame demo is the project name. Okay, you can select any project location for that matter. Inside AWT package, I will just create a new folder called as frame demo. Okay, my project will be saved in this frame demo. Fine. And I say finish. Okay, so this is that frame demo Java file. Now in order to create a frame, I should first import a package. Okay, so I'll just say import java.awt.frame. So frame class contains all the inbuilt methodologies which are used for creating a frame. So I'll say import java.awt.frame. Now in public static void main, I will create object of this frame class itself. So I'll say frame f1 equal to new frame, and in the parenthesis I'm going to write the title of this frame. So I'll say my new frame is the title of the frame. Fine. So f1 object is created, a new frame is created. Next I'm going to set the size of this frame. So I'll say f1 dot set size. So you can say set size, and the size of this frame, let it be say 800 by 600. Width is 800, height is 600, and I will just say f dot set visible, f dot set visible. Okay, so set visible is a method that can be used. It's f1 dot set visible, f1 dot set visible, and the boolean value that we are going to insert is true. That means the moment I say set visible true, the frame will be visible. Okay, then I save the code, and now I use this run project button. So what you see in front of you, this is a frame. This is a frame. As you can see here, my new frame is the title of the frame. Okay, it has a minimization, it has a maximization or restoration button, and it has a close button. Okay, and as we will see later on, we can add menus, we can add borders, we can add so many other components like buttons and all this to this particular frame, and we can also add canvases, right? Now one thing you will observe, if you minimize, the frame will be minimized. If you say maximize, the frame will be maximized and resized. However, when you click this close button, the frame will not close, because this requires an event. Okay, so for this I think we will see later on how to close a frame. Because closing a frame, there is an event, that is a class called as window adapter that we are going to use to close the frame. So the code to close the frame we are going to see after some more exercises. Okay, so right now we will not close this frame, we can just minimize this and keep. So canvas is basically area of a component where the parent application can draw more components, and it can receive the user inputs like touch, tab or text. Canvas can be added to the frame. So you can see here, this is basically a canvas that is added. So canvas is basically this is a parent frame, and within the parent frame you can create a canvas, and this canvas can be used to draw more components in it, and it can receive different user inputs, okay, and so on. So let us quickly draw a canvas. Now in order to draw a canvas, there is a class, there is an inbuilt class called as canvas. So you will have to see, now this is the frame, outer frame, and within the frame you have a component called as canvas. So that's why you will have to import the frame class, as well as you will have to import a canvas class. Now then I will be also setting some colors and all, so I will be also importing a color class and graphics class. Okay, so without wasting time, let us go and let us write a small code. Let us modify the existing code so that I can add a canvas to my code. Add a canvas to this particular frame. So to add canvas, I will first have to import a class called as canvas, which is present in java.awt. So I will say import java.awt.canvas. Okay, so this will import a canvas class. Canvas class has all the functionalities pertaining to canvas. Okay, then your class, current class is frame demo class. Okay, I will keep the name same. Actually it should be canvas demo, but let me call it as frame demo only. Okay, now here in the class I will create a constructor of the class. Let's say frame demo is the constructor of the class. Okay, and within the constructor of this class we are going to write some code. So this code, okay, I'll just cut and I will paste it here. So frame demo, within the frame demo I first in the constructor, see basically whenever the object of the frame demo class will be created, the constructor is going to be called. So in public static void main, the interpreter will start execution from the main method. So in the main method I will write only one small code. I will create a new object of frame demo. So I'll just say frame demo. Okay, so this will, in the main method we will just create an object of the frame demo class. So whenever the interpreter is going to execute the program from here. Now when the object is created, the constructor is automatically called. Now what are the things that I have written in constructor? First I am creating a frame, okay, and let's say the name of my frame is my frame with canvas. that's the name of my new frame. Okay, let me set the size. Let's reduce this size. I will make this as say 500 by something like 400. Okay, I will set the size and I will set the frame visible. Okay, so this is the frame code. Now in between I have to write a code so that I can add canvas, right? So to add canvas, okay, I will have to create a new canvas. So I will say canvas C equal to new canvas. So I have created a new canvas, and then this new canvas has to be added to the frame. Now whenever you want to add any component to the frame, there is a method called as add that we can use. Now the object of the frame is f1, so I can say f1 dot add. Okay, and which component you want to add? The canvas, that is C. Okay, so by saying f1 dot add C, this particular canvas that I have created will be added to the frame. Okay, now what you can do is, now this will add a simple blank canvas. Now you may also require to change the look and feel of the canvas, maybe the background color and whatever, right? If you want to do so, okay, then what you can do is you can create another class, your own class, for creating your customized canvas. So let's do that. Okay, and instead of just passing a simple canvas, we'll pass the object of this modified canvas. Okay, so this is your free demo class. Okay, we will write another class here. Okay, let us say we'll create another class. Let's say class, okay, my canvas. My canvas is a new class which extends the canvas class. Okay, which extends the canvas class. So I have created a new class called as my canvas. Okay, now in the constructor of this particular my canvas, I'll say my canvas. In the constructor, I'll write the code that I want, the tweak or the modification that I want to the default canvas. The very first thing is I want to set the background to a different color. Okay, so I'll say set background, I'll say color dot. Okay, let's say the background of this particular is say orange. Fine, background of the canvas will be orange, and size of the canvas, I want to change the size. Size is a method called as set size. So I can say set size. Okay, and let the canvas dimensions be say 400 by say 300. Okay, so I have changed the size of the canvas also. Fine. So the moment object of canvas is created, it will set the background to orange of that canvas, and the size of the canvas will be 400 by 300. So I have changed the look and appearance of the canvas. Also within this class, I will also define paint method. I will say public void paint, which will take the object of graphics class. Okay, let me write it as small g. Okay, now since I am using a graphics class, I will also have to import the graphics class. So I will say import say java.awt.graphics. Yes. So then using the object of this graphics class, I will set the color. I'm going to draw a figure within the canvas. So I'll say set color, and let me set the color to something like black. Say black is the color, and I'll say g dot fill oval. Okay, whose size is 10, 10. 10 comma 10, and the width is 100 and the height is say 80. I have randomly given the values. So I have, I could have actually added this canvas, which is a default canvas, blank canvas, but instead of adding the simple canvas, I thought of customizing my canvas. So my canvas class extends canvas. So then what I will do here is, instead of adding default canvas, I will create an object of my canvas. So I'll say my canvas C is equal to new my canvas. Okay, so instead of adding a default canvas, I am adding this customized canvas, and that object I am passing here, I am adding that object as component of the frame. Okay, I will save this code. Fine. So interpreter will start executing the code from here. So first the object of the frame demo class will be created. When the object is created, the constructor will be called, frame will be created with the name. Okay, then it creates object of my canvas. So it will call the constructor of my canvas. It will come here, constructor will be called. Okay, and then we are adding the canvas. So I'll just save this, and now I can run the file. So now you can see, you can see that you have your canvas. Fine. Frame with canvas. Yes, as you can see, the background color, and you can see the color which you have set here. Okay, black color. Fine. So this is how the canvas can be created. Next, we shall see how a button can be added onto this particular frame. Button is basically used for interaction with the user. So user can click on a button to achieve a desired action, and whenever we click a button, there should be event listener. Okay, click is a event, button clicking is an event, and there should be event listener, and by clicking the button, the event listener object should be called, and it should execute the required action. Right now, for creating a button in java.awt package, there is a class called as button class, which can be used to create object of type button. So as you can see here, I am first creating a frame, and then I am creating a new button. Again, there is a method called as setBound. So whenever you have button, button is something like a rectangle. So there are 4 parameters that you can specify. These 4 parameters will tell you, okay, what are the bounds of the button, what is the starting point x comma y, what is the width, and what is the height of the button. So this will tell you where exactly, this can help you to check where exactly the button can fit in the frame. Okay, then again, once the button object is created, once the bounds are fixed, next you need to add that button to the frame. So again, frame has a add method, as we have seen previously. So you calling the add method, you can pass this button object as the argument, which will add the button onto the frame. Again, we can set the size of the frame and so on. Okay, so let us quickly see that particular demo. Okay, let me create a new application. Okay, in AWT package, let me create another folder, and I will say button demo. Okay, my project will be saved here in button demo. Project name will be button demo. Fine, and I'll say finish. I'll close this frame demo. Okay, now for a button, if you want to draw a button, okay, first of all you will have to import 2 classes. One is the frame class itself, because button will be housed within the frame, and second is a button class. Okay, to add the button. So I will just write here import java.awt.frame and then import java.awt.button. These are the very important classes. Okay. Again, if you want to change the font or color of the button, font of the text on the button and all, you can use other classes like graphics and color class and so on. And if you are not sure which class to use, then you can just write one import statement and just say import java.awt.star. So that will import all the possible classes which are there in the java.awt file. Now right now my class is button demo. Okay, so like what I did in the previous program, okay, the interpreter will start executing the program from the main. So in the main I'm going to just create object of class button demo. So I'll just say button demo bt equal to new button demo. Okay, so the program will execute by creating a new object. Now when the object is created, the constructor of the class is automatically called. So button demo class is constructor. I'm going to write here the name of the constructor is same as class name. Okay, and within the constructor I'm going to write all the code that is required to create a frame and within that a button. So very first thing is you require a frame. So I create a frame object, frame f equal to new frame, and the text will be button inside the frame. So the title of the frame will be button inside the frame. Okay, now once the frame is created, I will also create object of button class. So I'll say button b equal to new button. Okay, and here you can specify what is the text that you want on the button. So I'll say click me is the text that should appear on the button. Fine, so this is how we have created a button. Next, what are the bounds of this button? Okay, so for that there is a method, as I told you, there is something called a set bounds. Set bound method takes 4 parameters. Okay, set bound is almost same as a rectangle draw rect method. Okay, so it takes the same parameters. So I'll just say b dot set. I'll say b dot set bounds. Okay, it takes 4 parameters which are nothing but one is x and y coordinate. So suppose x coordinate is say 30, y coordinate is say 50. So the rectangle drawing for the button will start at 30, 50 pixel point. Next is the width of the rectangle for button. Suppose 150 is the width of the button and the height of the rectangle for the button, it's a 50. Fine. So this is how you have defined the bounds of the button. But yet you have not added the button onto the frame. So I can say f.add method will add the button b onto the frame. Fine. Now we have added button onto the frame, but what about the size of the frame? We have not defined. So I'll just say f.set size. Okay, set size. So let's say the size of the frame is 300 by 300. Okay, let's say the size of the frame is 300 by 300, and then I will make this frame visible. So set visible, and always it will be true. Yes, so this is the code that I have written in constructor of the button demo class. So whenever object is created, constructor will be called and all this will happen. So I will save this code and I will run this particular file. So now as you can see, okay, as you can see, you have the frame with the name button inside the frame, and this is that button. Okay, click me button. Label is a component that is meant to show a string and is the easiest component to use. So label basically shows the string. So whenever you have a form, okay, form will have text boxes, and besides that the name that tells the user what the text box is all about. So that's basically a label, right? So again, there is a class called as Java. There is a class called as label, which is present in java.awt that you can use. Since you are going to embed these labels inside a frame, you will also have to import a class called as frame, right? Now again, the labels can be created like how we created buttons. Labels can be created. So you can say label, first label equal to new label. Again, label has a property called as set bounds, which will set the bounds of the label. Okay, and then using add method, we will be adding these labels onto the frame. We can set the size of these frames. Okay, and we will see how this works. So let's start with a program. Okay, now within this AWT package, I'll create a new folder and I'll say label demo. Okay, so my project will be saved in this label. The name of this project will be label demo. Name of the project will be label demo, and it will have main class. So you can say finish. Yes. Okay, now since we are going to have labels, we'll have to import those files. So I'll say import java.awt.label class, right? And the second is import java.awt.frame class. These are the two classes which are required, correct? Now again, in the main, we are going to execute the program by creating object of this class. So I'll say label demo, okay, obj equal to new label demo, right? So it will create a new object, and that's how the program will be executed. Now whenever the object is created, the constructor will be called. So all the code of this particular program I'm going to write in the constructor of label demo. So I'll write the constructor label demo is the constructor name. Now first I will create a frame f equal to new frame. The name of the frame this time will be label demo frame. Okay, I have created a new frame. Then we have to also set the size of the frame. So I'll say f dot set size. Okay, f dot set size. For the label, the size of the frame I can say is 400 by say 150. Okay, let this the size of the frame. And then okay, now as I have said, there are different layouts. Right now we are not using any layout, but I will show you a method. There is a method called as set layout. Okay, so later on we'll see there is something called as layout manager, which will enable you to have different layouts in your frame. Okay, otherwise we have seen in the previous example the button appears on the entire frame. Okay, so I'll just say f dot set layout. Right now we are not selecting any layout, so I will say null, and then to make this frame visible I'll say f dot set visible, and the parameter within will be true. So this is how the frame can be created. We have defined everything, all attributes for the frame. Now within these frames we are going to add labels. So just after creating a new frame, I will create, let's say, 2 labels. So I'll say label L1 equal to new label, and the name of the label is my first label, right? That's the name of the label. And I'll create another label. I'll call it as L2. Okay, and the name of the label will be okay, L2 is the name of the label. I'll say label. Okay, the name that will be displayed will be my second label. Okay, these are the two labels that we've created. Again, we have to set the bounds of these labels. So I'll say L1 dot set bounds. Okay, I'll say L1 dot set bounds, and for the first label I can say 10 comma say 40. Okay, 10 comma 40 comma 160. Okay, and last value is say 30. So these are the label 1 bound values. L2 dot set bound, set bounds of the label. I will say you can take 10 comma 90, say 90 comma 160 comma 30. Notice that I want both the labels to appear one below the other, so the starting X point will be the same. Okay, Y point will be different. Here it is 40, here it is 90, whereas the width and height of the labels also will remain the same. So this is how you have created two labels. Then you have set the bounds of the label. Now we have to add this label to the frame using add method. So I'll say f dot add and just specify label 1 and label 2. I'll say L1 and then again f dot add, I'll say L2. This is how both these labels can be added. Okay, so let's see whether these labels can be displayed now. So I'll save this code and I will run. Now you can see the name of the frame is label demo frame. This is my first label and this is my second label which is being displayed. Okay, now after labels, next concept that we are going to see is the check boxes. Now checkbox, it allows the user to select the data from a specific set of options only. Okay, a particular set of options are there and you have to select the data from those options. Now remember when the checkbox is checked, we say that its state is turned on, and when it is not checked, we say that its state is turned off. So if it is checked, the value inside will be true. Okay, if it is not checked, the value will be false. Now how to find out what is the state of a particular checkbox? So there is a method called as getState that we are going to use to find out what is the current state of the checkbox, and there is another method called as setState that can modify the state of the checkbox. So now quickly we will see one small program of how to create checkboxes. So we'll create a new project. Okay, I'll create a new folder called as checkbox demo. Fine, so my project will be created in this particular folder. Again, the name of the project will be checkbox demo. Name of the project is checkbox demo. I'll say finish. Fine. Now what are the classes that we are going to import in this checkbox demo program? Okay, first of all, the checkboxes will be present inside the frames. So one, you will have to import the frame class. Okay. Second, you will have to also, since for checkbox, besides the checkbox you are going to show a label, we will have to import the label class. Checkbox class itself we will have to import. Then see, since there are labels, we can change the font of the label. So there is a class called as font class that we will also have to import. And for this program, I will show you how event handling can happen. So whenever we check a particular checkbox, or whenever we uncheck a particular checkbox, I want to show you what is the event and how that event handles. So whenever we are talking about the checkboxes and all, okay, there is the event name is item event. And the action listener for this event is basically the listener for this event is called as item listener. Okay, so we will have to import those two classes also. So let's write now. So I'll import java dot awt dot frame is the first class that I can import. Okay. Then I'll import java dot awt dot checkbox. Then I'll import java dot awt dot say label, because we are going to use labels also. And then import java dot awt dot font, because we will also work with font. And I said there are two events, item event, and there is an event called as item event, and there is object listener that is called as item listener. Both these are present in a package called as java.awt.event. So I will import those. I will say import, package name is java.awt.event. So this is the package. Event is a package, and within this event package, so java.awt.event, within this package we have a class called as item event. Okay, item event, which takes care of the item events, and then within the same package there is something called as item listener. java.awt.event dot item listener. Item listener is an interface. Okay, whereas the item event is the event and item listener is the interface that we are going to use. So we will have to modify our class, because it is going to use item listener. I will say public class checkbox demo implements the interface that is item listener. Okay, public class checkbox demo implements the item listener interface. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create three checkboxes. The first checkbox will represent the Java language, second checkbox will represent Python language, third checkbox will represent the C++ language. So I will declare checkbox variables. I will say, okay, I will say checkbox CB Java. Okay, that's for Java. Then I'll say CB, that is checkbox Python, and CB, that is checkbox CPP, that is for C++. So we have created three variables for checkboxes. We have not yet created objects. Also we will come up with a label. Okay, label, and the name of the label will be message label. Okay, message label, and we will take one string. We'll see why this string. The name of the string will be text equal to null. Initialize it with null. So these are the three variables that we use. Now, how this program will work? Okay, the interpreter is going to execute from the main, and in main we are going to create an object of the checkbox demo class. So I'll say checkbox demo, checkbox demo d equal to new checkbox demo, okay. So this is how the object will be created. Now when object is created, the constructor is automatically called. So we will write the code for the constructor here. The constructor will be checkbox demo is the constructor name, and the entire code we are going to write in this constructor. Now first thing is we are going to create a frame. So I'll say frame that will house this checkboxes and all that. So frame f equal to new frame, okay, and name of the frame will be my checkbox demo is the name of the frame. So first frame is created. Second, we'll have to set the size of the frame as usual. Okay, so I'll say f dot set size. Okay, let's say the size of this frame is 400 by 350. That's the size of the frame. Then we'll also set this frame as visible. So I'll say frame or f dot set visible will make it true. Okay, so this code here, first we have created frames. Next we are creating a new font so that I can use it. So just after declaring a frame object, I will create a font. I will say font, okay, name of the font will be font, object will be font equal to new font. Now font, it takes three parameters. One is the name of the font. So let's say the name is Courier New. Courier New is the name of the font. Then next is whether the font is bold or whether it is italic, that you need to specify. So I say font dot, and you get so many options. So I will just say the font is italic, and then you can specify the size of the font. So let's say the size of the font is 14. So this is how we have created font. Okay, now you have to create objects of checkboxes. So you can say create checkbox objects. Okay, now what are the checkbox object? The first object is CB Java. I'll say CB Java equal to new checkbox CB Java equal to new checkbox, and the name of this checkbox that will be printed besides it. So I'll say Java, that's the name of the checkbox. Then there is some error, I'll just copy and paste it here. Yes. The next is CB Python equal to new checkbox CB Python equal to new checkbox and I'll say Python. Okay. Oh, P is small. And third is CBCPP, that is C++, equal to new checkbox and the name will be C++. Yes. So we have created 3 objects of type checkbox. Next, we have to also set the bounds of this particular checkboxes. So I'll just say CB Java dot set bounds. Again, it's a rectangle value of the rectangle, the 4 parameters. So I'll say 10, 40, 160 and 30. 10, 40, 160 and 30. These are the 4 values. Then CB Python dot set bounds. Okay, and I'll give the next values as 10, 80, 160 and 30. 10, 80, 160 and 30. Okay, and next the third checkbox, that is CPP for C++. Its set bound value is set bounds. Okay, the value will be 10. Then let's take this value as 160, 160. No, we'll take it as 120, 160 and 30. 120, 160 and 30. Yes, so we have set the bounds for these checkboxes. Again, whenever this checkbox will be displayed, besides that Java, Python, C++ will be printed. So we have already defined a font, so we can also set fonts for these checkbox text values. So I'll say CB Java dot set font. Okay, and the name of the font that we have is font only. Similarly, I'll say CB Python dot set font. Name of the font is font only. And finally CBCPP dot set font, and name of the font is font. Fine. So after adding the font, finally these checkboxes which are now ready to be used, they will have to be added to the frame. So I'll say f dot add frame, f dot add. Okay, I'll say CB Java will be added to the frame. Then I'll say f dot add CB Python. So CB Python will be added to the frame, and finally f dot add CB C++. So C++ will be added to the frame. Okay. Also, see, whenever we are going to click on those checkboxes, checking, unchecking, so that's called as an event. It's called as item event. So there has to be a action listener that we have to register. And registering action listener, we have seen in the previous lectures, we use add action listeners. So I will just say for the first box, CB Java, okay, I am registering the action listener called as item listener. Okay, so I'll say CB Java dot I'll say add item listener this. So it will add this particular checkbox to this particular checkbox. It will register listener event, listener object, that's called as item listener. Similarly, cb python dot add item listener this. So for this box also, and cpp for this box as well, will add item listener, that is this item listener. So this is how we have registered the event with the listeners, right? And finally, we have to now just one sec. We'll just take this on top. Okay, so this is all that checkbox demo constructor will do. First it will create a frame, then a font, then it will create three objects of checkboxes, three checkboxes with this text. Okay, then we are setting the bounds of these checkboxes, then we are setting the fonts for these checkboxes, we are adding those checkboxes to the frame, and finally we are registering the item listeners objects for the item event. Now this event will happen when we check or uncheck the box. Now we have registered the item listener for it. Now item listener is basically an interface. This item listener interface will have inbuilt methods, which will have inbuilt methods that will tell you what are the actions this listener is going to take when a particular event will occur. Now since it's a interface, we will have to override and we will have to define the methods which are there in this particular interface in our class. Our class is checkbox demo class, so we'll have to implement those methods. So the very first method, okay, which we are going to implement is item state changed method. Public void, the method name is, we can write it here before the closing of the class. Okay, so we'll write here public void item state changed. So this item state change is a inbuilt method that is there in this particular interface called as item listener interface. So you will have to define the code for this. Now this item state change method, it takes item event object as an argument. So the event is item event. Okay, so let's define this. First of all, the variable that is text which we had taken, let us set it to null. Okay, now next, so what we are going to do is, once a particular checkboxes are checked, okay, below this particular form there will be a message box that will display which are the checkboxes which are checked and which are the checkboxes which are unchecked. So we will require a label that we can put down, so that in that label the status of these checkboxes can be written. Okay, and the text that will be displayed in this label will be this particular text. So it will say text equal to the text, the previous text, plus, that is, it will concatenate to that, say languages. Okay, say languages, then text, the new value of text will be the old value of text, plus it will say Java, and for Java it will, we are going to use get state method to know whether this Java's checkbox it is checked or no. So if the Java text box has been if Java checkbox has been checked already, then besides this Java, here the get state method will give you true, otherwise it will give you false. Okay, so I'll say cb java dot get state. Okay, I'll say get state. Yes, Then again, now this is for the first checkbox. Now for the second text checkbox, I'll say text equal to the old text plus, it will concatenate this also. It will say Python, okay, and it will tell you the status of Python, whether it is checked or not. I'll say cb python dot get state, and finally text equal to text plus C++. For C++, it will also tell you the state. I'll say cb cpp dot get state. Okay, so finally in that message, in that label, all this text will be printed. So first blank will be printed, then it will print languages, then to this it will append Java, then to this it will append the state of that checkbox, whether it is checked or not, then to this it will append Python, string called as Python, then to that the state of the Python, finally it will append C++ and then the state of the C++. Now all this you are going to print if the item state gets changed. That means if some checkbox is checked or unchecked, ultimately the message box is going to have it. So to print this in message box, we have already created an object of label that's called as MSG label. So we are going to use it, and we are going to say MSG label equal to MSG label, okay, dot set text. Now set text method will set the text for any label, and what is the text? It will be the final value of this text. One last thing that we need to do before we execute this particular program is, see, we have created objects of type checkbox, we have set the bounds, we have also added those objects to the frame. But see, what basically we want is, along with this checkboxes, we have also defined one label. So based on the events that are happening on the checkbox, the moment you check, the moment you uncheck a particular checkbox, that event should be recorded, and a string should be printed on the message label, that is a label, right? So this label also should be present onto the frame. So we will just add the labels. So first of all, I have just created a label. I need to create an object of label. So I will just say I'll create the object. The name of the label is MSG label equal to new label. I will have to add the object over here. Similarly, we have set the bounds for all the three checkboxes. You have to also set the bound for the label, because it will be added along with those checkboxes. So I will say MSG label dot set bounds, okay, and this will be 10, 160, let's say, and the height will keep it as 160 only, width will keep as 160 only, and the height will be say 100, so that a big text can be displayed. So we have to set bound for the message box, okay, which is basically of type label, and also this label has to be added to the frame. So far we have not added, so I will also have to say f dot add, and the component that is to be added is MSG label. So label has to be also added. So now along with the checkboxes, you will see that the label is getting added, and here the method that we have overridden, that is item state chain, this method, the moment there is a check uncheck happening on the checkboxes, it will be recorded by this method, okay, and accordingly this particular final text will be displayed on the message label using set text method. Okay, now we are ready to run this program. So you can see that this is the frame called as my checkbox demo, Okay, you can also see the font that we had considered here was Courier New, Italic and 14. So you see Java, Python, C++ being printed with that font. These are the three check boxes. Now what about the message label? Message label is there here, but only the text is not printed on the message label. Only after the check uncheck event happens, that means only after the item state changes, only then the message label will have some text. Okay, so let us run and see. So let's say I check Java. So now you see the message label says, okay, the languages, okay, it prints languages, then it prints Java, and now since I have checked the checkbox of Java, okay, get state will return true, and that's why for Java it is true, and for Python as well as for C++ it is false. Suppose I check C++ label, then for Java and for C++ get state will return true because I have checked, whereas for Python it becomes false because I have not checked. When I have checked this also, all three are true. Similarly, when I uncheck a particular checkbox, say Java, Java becomes false. So this is basically a simple program of using checkboxes and how we can handle the events. In this case, item event was the event and item listener was the interface that actually the method within that interface was item state change. This particular method, it actually handled the event and accordingly the action was taken. Action was simple here, printing the state of the event. Thank you.